live to El Paso as soon as this news conference begins. This has been a test of strength for the El Paso community. Of course, 2 days after a shooter took the lives of 22 people, Brett Buffington is live in El Paso as we are standing by for new information from police. Brett?
Me and 22 people lost their lives in this. Another two dozen, I should say, also were injured. We're hoping to learn more in that press conference this afternoon about the entirety of the victims. We learned yesterday from the Mexican government that 7 of them were Mexican or citizens of Mexico, and we learned their names yesterday. We're expecting in this press conference this afternoon that we will learn the names of all of the victims here. Behind me, the Walmart where this happened Saturday morning, in the parking lot, are the countless number of cars left behind where people went running for their lives when the shooting started. People here yesterday were told they couldn't come back and get their cars until this crime scene was over. I can tell you there's an army of FBI agents here on the ground, including 40, who are tasked now with gathering evidence both inside and outside of that Walmart behind me. Meanwhile, today we have learned more about the 21-year-old shooter. In court documents, we've learned he spent the last 2 years living with his grandparents in that Dallas suburb of Allen, Texas. He said that he had no job and no assets when he asked the judge for an attorney. He's also being held on a capital murder charge with no bond. Of course, this is an extensive investigation both on the state, local, and federal level. We know that federal investigators here, they are working on both hate crime and federal weapons charges against this 21-year-old suspect. Meanwhile, this community, it is healing. There is a growing memorial just behind this Walmart where so many people have showed up to hug their neighbors, to lay down flowers, to light candles, and just have a moment of prayer. It is touching to see. Of course, we are waiting on this press conference to start here at the Joint 911 Center in El Paso. When that happens, we'll have more information on an update on the investigation here in El Paso. We're live from El Paso this afternoon. I'm Brett Buffington, KHOU 11 News.
Brett, we'll get back to you as soon as the news conference starts. In Dayton, Ohio, police still don't know why a young man went on a shooting rampage in the early morning hours of Sunday in a popular downtown nightlife district. 9 were killed there, 14 others wounded, many more hurt while trying to run away.
Reporter Natalie Brand is in Dayton, where police are looking into reports from the gunman's former classmates that paints a rather troubled past.
Caitlin Mouget returned to the scene of Saturday's mass shooting in Dayton for the first time. She's grateful she escaped with her life.
That's the most difficult thing with any shooting, is why. And I don't believe we'll ever have a definitive answer, and that's something that we're all going to have to live with.
Mouget was nearby when police say 24-year-old Connor Betts opened fire, killing 9 people.
Hearing a weapon fired like that in succession like that, and you don't know where it's coming from, like literally running for your life was exactly what we did.
The gunman's sister, 22-year-old Megan Betts, is among the dead. Police believe the siblings had actually traveled to Dayton together, along with a man described as her companion who was wounded but survived.
It seems to just defy believability he would shoot his own sister. But it's also hard to believe that he didn't recognize that was his sister.
Police are looking through all evidence here at the scene and reports that Betts had been suspended in high school after officials learned he compiled a hit list of individuals he wanted to kill. On Monday, a neighbor alluded to the gunman's troubled past.
I personally don't like to think anyone's capable of something that bad, but there was some instances of threats.
Police say the AR-15 style rifle Betts used was legal, but it was modified to function like an assault rifle. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Dayton, Ohio.
And this morning, President Trump addressed the nation blaming, quote, hatred and mental illness as the reason mass shooters pulled the trigger.
The shooter in El Paso posted a manifesto online consumed by racist hate. In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. These sinister ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place in America. Each of us can choose to build a culture that celebrates the inherent worth and dignity of every human life. That's what we have to do. Mental illness and hatred pulls the trigger, not the gun. Fourth, we must make sure.
The president did touch on gun control today, saying he will propose several new pieces of legislation, including a red flag law that would not allow certain people to have guns if they pose a grave risk to public safety.
And starting right now, that news conference in El